All right, we've all played around with chatbots that can answer our questions, right? Well, the next evolution of AI is already here, and it's called AI agents. We're talking about systems designed not just to talk, but to do. So let's dive into what might be the next great leap for artificial intelligence.
So, this is really the crucial question, isn't it? What happens when you give AI hands, a to-do list, a goal? What if it could actually interact with the world, make its own plans, and carry out complex tasks all by itself? This is the core idea behind AI agents, and honestly, it's probably going to change everything.
You know, to really wrap our heads around what an AI agent can do, we need to see one in action. And what better place to start than a virtual city, just bustling with AI-driven life? That's exactly what some researchers created to test how these agents behave in a complex, social world.
So get this. A team built a simulation they called SimFleet, and they filled it with 320 individual AI agents. The goal? To just sit back and watch how these agents would handle daily commutes and transportation choices over a 20-day period. And this wasn't some simple model. It was a living, breathing, digital society.
And just look at this diagram. It gives you a sense of how complex the system was. We're not just looking at dots on a map here. Every single agent, whether it was a pedestrian, a bus, or a car, was making its own decisions, interacting with the city, and reacting to other agents. It was a true multi-agent system.
What's really cool is that the researchers didn't just create a bunch of generic clones. No, they gave them distinct profiles, almost like little personalities. You had administrative workers who really valued their time and wanted the fastest route. Then you had university students who were way more concerned about cost and their carbon footprint. Each agent had its own set of motivations.
And here is the absolute proof that they were actually thinking. On day one, a whopping 80% of the student agents took the bus. But after just one day of experiencing that short commute, they reflected on it. By day two, more than half of them had switched to walking, a choice that lined up way better with their eco-friendly, budget-conscious profiles. They were actually learning from memory and experience. Wild, right?
Okay, so that experiment is a fantastic real-world, well, virtual world example of an agent in action. Building on that, let's get down to it. What exactly separates a powerful chatbot from a true AI agent? The difference is pretty fundamental.
This is probably the best analogy I've ever heard for this. Imagine a standard large language model, the kind that powers most chatbots, as this brilliant brain just floating in a jar. It can think, it can talk, but it can't do anything. An AI agent is that same brilliant brain, but now you've given it hands, a phone, and a to-do list. It has tools to interact with the world and actually get things done.
So let's break that down a bit more. LLMs are passive, right? They just sit there, waiting for your prompt. Agents, on the other hand, are autonomous. They can take a big goal, break it down into steps, and then go execute them. LLMs can't really collaborate, but agents are specifically designed to work with other agents and use external tools to achieve really complex goals.
And the engine that powers all of this is something researchers call agent communication. It's basically the standardized process that lets these agents coordinate with each other, with us, and with all their digital tools. You could say this communication framework is the secret sauce that makes all their advanced capabilities possible.
But here's the twist. This incredible new power of communication and action, well, it also opens a Pandora's box of new vulnerabilities. The very thing that makes these agents so powerful also makes them, and by extension us, uniquely susceptible to a whole new class of attacks. In the world of cybersecurity, they have a term for this, expanding the attack surface. And it's a perfect description. Every new connection, every new tool an agent can use is another potential door for a bad actor to walk right through. The more capable the system, the more ways there are to break it.
And listen, this isn't some theoretical threat. Just look at this text. Researchers created a malicious agent that literally stuffed its own description with repetitive keywords, trying to trick a user into selecting it to book a flight instead of a legitimate one. It almost sounds desperate, doesn't it? What you're looking at is basically search engine optimization, SEO, but weaponized for AI. Just like a scammy website tries to trick Google into ranking it number one, a malicious agent can stuff its profile with keywords to trick an AI system into choosing it for a job, hijacking the task from a safe and legitimate agent. Now here is another, frankly, chilling example. This line of text was hidden deep inside a perfectly normal-looking document about system architecture. But if you look closer,
you can see it contains a command that tells the agent to go find sensitive system information, like API keys, and then send it all over Slack.
So just imagine this scenario. An AI agent, trying to be helpful by, say, summarizing a document for you, gets tricked into executing malicious commands that are hidden inside of it. And without you ever knowing, it could start leaking your private data or your company's biggest secrets, all because it trusted the wrong file.
So we've got agents that can act, and we know they can be tricked. But the story gets even stranger. What if the biggest flaw isn't from some outside attack, but from something baked right into the logic of the AI itself? What if these supposedly hyper-rational machines have some, well, very human-like irrationalities?
Think about it. Have you ever been in a meeting and just gone along with the group consensus, even if you had some doubts, just to avoid making waves? Well, that's a classic cognitive bias called the herd effect. And what's crazy is that recent studies have found that AI agents are susceptible to the exact same thing.
But the weirdness does not stop there. Researchers compared how agents responded to group pressure versus a single authoritative voice. The results, which you can see here, are just fascinating. It turns out that, unlike a lot of humans, these AI agents are significantly more likely to obey one expert than they are to conform to a whole crowd. They have a really strong bias towards authority.
And these AI biases are different from ours in some really strange ways. So for humans, in a conforming crowd, a single person speaking up can break the spell. But for AI agents, a single dissenting voice actually makes them conform more to the wrong answer. And when passing along information, humans tend to shorten and simplify it, like in a game of telephone. AI agents, they do the opposite. They elaborate and add more detail, creating a totally different kind of distortion.
You might have heard of the famous Ash experiments from the 1950s. They found that humans will conform to a group's obviously wrong answer about 36% of the time. Now, while AI agents show a similar tendency, their underlying reasoning is, well, it's alien. They seem to interpret someone disagreeing not as a sign of independent thought, but as proof that the majority's opinion must be even more valid.
And look, this isn't just some quirky academic finding. This is absolutely critical. If we're going to hand over control of financial trading or logistics or even traffic systems to autonomous agents, we have to understand that they might make these irrational herd-like decisions, but for completely non-human reasons. We are building systems that have biases we don't even fully comprehend yet.
Which leaves us with a final and pretty provocative thought. As we build these increasingly powerful AI agents, are we actually creating intelligent partners that are going to help us solve the world's biggest problems? Or are we just building flawed mirrors that reflect our own cognitive biases back at us, but amplified in strange and unpredictable ways? The answer is far from clear.